to another episode of the Green Spotlight. I am very honored to have two of the best history teachers that I know. Perfect gentlemen. I mean, I was impressed from the first time I stepped on Dorsey's campus with who they are, and I am here and I am so honored to interview Dr. Singleton and Coach Davis. Um, Coach Davis, do you want to introduce yourself first?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Malta and Dr. Singleton. It's always wonderful to share a platform with you. My name is Irvin Davis, and I've been blessed to teach and coach at Dorsey High School for about 30 years now. I'm also a Dorsey graduate and a product of Los Angeles, Leimert Park, and it's just a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to be on this platform.
Thank you, Coach Davis. Dr. Singleton.
Hi, I'm Donald Singleton, and it is such an honor to be here with Coach Davis and Mr. Malta. And I've been teaching at Dorsey now for 24 years. And my grandparents lived down the street from Dorsey, and all of my cousins attended Dorsey. So I was on Dorsey's campus when I was 13, 14 years old. And it's just a blessing to have been here at Dorsey for over 24 years.
Thank you so much. And we are in Black History Month, so there's so much that we have at Dorsey that we should celebrate. So I thought of you immediately because I know that if we're going to talk history, let's talk to the experts. Let's talk to those that chose, to be historians, to teach history, and that lived in the neighborhood. And so they have so much to give and provide to all of us. Not only that, you represent two of some of the best magnets in LAUSD. We have three magnets, and you two are part of those magnets. So we have the Firefighter EMS magnet and the Sports Medicine and Law magnet. So, you know, who better to interview than you two gentlemen? So I'm just going to start with Coach Davis. I have a couple of questions uh, to ask. And so, Coach Davis, can you just describe how was it growing up in America? Can you describe a little bit about your own experience growing up here in America and some of the major events that you saw through your lifetime that changed history?
Okay, thank you for your question. Well, first of all, I would like to say that, I grew up in a beautiful, beautiful, self-contained Black community of Leimert Park, District of Los Angeles. And I was born at a time where it was right at the end, I would say, of the civil rights era. So my parents and my family was able to benefit from many of the gains that were made and that were fought for during the civil rights movement. So I was born in 1970. I don't have a problem saying that. Some people have a problem saying their age, but I was born in 1970. And the community that I lived in, it was middle class. Like I said, Black community. There was a lot of family structure. We had two-parent homes. We had a middle class. We had a great work ethic. We had wonderful schools, wonderful schools. I went to a wonderful elementary school, Dublin Avenue Elementary School, which is now renamed Tom Bradley. I went to Audubon Middle School, which was, besides Dorsey, probably one of my favorite schools I ever went to. I mean, when we were at Audubon, we had a wonderful science program, wonderful music program, English program, math program. And it was a time where you could feel the sense of community in the Black community. You could feel as though the community had arrived. You could feel as though, the all of the challenges that had been faced in previous generations, it was like we were able to reap the benefits that were gained from the civil rights era. I had wonderful, Black teachers. The families on the block looked out for one another. We played basketball together in the street. We played football, baseball. We just had a really, really wonderful, self-contained Black community. My parents were both professionals, and we just received a lot of support and encouragement. So, in the context of history, I would have to say that moment in time, in the 70s in particular, when I was a child, was a time period where we really benefited from a lot of the gains of the civil rights era.
Yeah, wow. Dr. Singleton, same question. How was it growing up in America from your end?
Growing up in America as a male for me was quite challenging. I was born in 1960 and I grew up in West Compton in a heavy gang environment. Where I lived, if you were not a tough guy or an athlete, you were a target. I wasn't an athlete, and I wasn't a tough guy. I was a nice guy. I loved school. I loved to read and sing and write poetry. I won the spelling bee in elementary school and in middle schools. But I got jumped into a gang when I was 13, which gave me protection from the other gangs. Although I had to fight the guys in my neighborhood all the time to prove I wasn't soft. And the guys I fought, um, all of them ended up in penitentiary later on, which was quite common where I lived. Every male in my family has a prison record. My dad, my brother is just got a penitentiary for murder. All my cousins. Um, and my gang affiliation caused me to have run-ins with the police, who gave me a gang name. There were times I was placed on the ground with a shotgun to my head by the police. I carried a weapon for many years. I've been shot and stabbed. I lived in the crack house when I was attending law school, although I've never done drugs in my life. That was my experience growing up as a male.
And growing up, we all have different experiences, but it's tough. And I think that sometimes, as you stated, growing up as a male, it's difficult, as it is, fitting in and fitting into this male role that we have to fit into that role, and sometimes we don't. And what happens when you don't fit in? So those are the things that we as educators are trying to teach to our kids. Is we are very much like you, and we have experiences, and we overcame those obstacles, and here we are, and this is what my life goal is going to be, to help you. And so I know that you two do that on a daily basis. You are above and beyond working with students to make sure that they have a better life, and that is going to be our reward